Great Britain's Andy Murray, with 25 ATP World Tour titles, 2 Grand Slams and an Olympic gold medal. He's a player born to compete with the very best. And in part 2 of our in-depth profile of the 26-year-old, we take a look at where it all began and how Andy evolved into one of the most recognised and talented sports stars in the world.
When I was growing up as a kid, I used to love going on the court with my mum. I used to love being on the court with my brother and practicing. We just had fun, and if we didn't want to play, we didn't play.
Anybody who has worked with extremely talented kids in whatever sphere will tell you that, you know, they need to be challenged all the time. They need to be stimulated all the time. So the kind of boring, repetitive drills just doesn't get the job done for him. It always has to be about the competition and the challenge as part of it. So it's, you know, if the tougher you make it for him, the more he'll rise to the challenge.
There has been a strong support network around Murray since a young age. Today, Andy is under no illusions how important that was in shaping his career.
The sacrifices that the parents need to make, you know, to have their kids, you know, become top tennis players is pretty significant. And you know, my dad worked a 9-to-5 job, Monday to Friday, and then at the weekends we always had to go down to England to play in the tournaments, and you know, it's 5-6 hour drives, 10-hour drives sometimes at the weekends, and yeah, without their sacrifices, me and my brother wouldn't have been able to become players.
I think the interesting thing, which of course was a huge challenge for me, was that I had one son who was left-handed and whose skills were all around the serve and volleying, and another who was right-handed and who loved all the scrap from the baseline and chasing around the court and counter-punching. So they needed to train very differently.
Winning Wimbledon was the goal many in Britain had set him. With that target achieved, can Andy Murray now make it to the top of the Emirates ATP rankings?
I think Andy Murray can definitely be world #1. He needs his back to be healthy so he can play the way he needs to play and get a full season of action, but there's no question. You win a couple majors, gold medal, you've shown that you're right there with the best.
He's an all-around player. He just hits the ball so nice and clean.
I think he can get to #1 in the world if he stays fit and if that's his goal. Whatever he wants to do, it has to be about what he wants to do.
There has been a recent parting with coach Ivan Lendl, but Judy and Andy Murray know there is so much more to achieve. Next week on ATP World Tour Uncovered, who will master Miami? With all the action from the final of the Sony Open Tennis. And we spotlight the giant killer, Jiri Vesely, the young gun aiming for the top. Don't forget to log on to atpworldtour.com for your 24/7 breaking news and talk with us on Facebook and Twitter, now in English and Spanish. See you next week.